You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah.
And as a democracy, we respect other democracies' abilities to self-police and self-regulate. And so this process is underway. Our voices have been heard. Your voice is going to be heard. Obviously, there's international attention focused on this national citizenship registration.
The hearings were supposed to be all calm and professional, but the second Ilhan Omar opened her mouth, it turned into the opening of a bad soap opera, dramatic swells, shaky plot twists, and zero facts holding the whole script together. Thankfully, the witnesses showed up loaded with reality and accidentally served up some of the funniest intellectual smackdowns of the week. Before we dive in, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss the next round of facts versus feelings.
Under our Constitution, we are prohibited from establishing religion, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what the establishment says.
So if you have members of Congress that are legislating laws in accordance with their faith in regards to abortion or LGBTQ or women or any of those things, that should be prohibited within our Constitution.
You are not allowed to impose, through the government, your religious beliefs on others. That is not what religious freedom is about. That's not what our country rests on.
Yeah. For many of us, religious freedom is extremely important. It is life and death in this country. Yes. Many of us fled our countries to come to the United States because that is the one thing that distinguishes us from many countries. But it's also important that we have a secular government and protect people's civil rights and access to those civil rights. And so I appreciate your testimony. Ambassador Wales, as you know, last month I let a letter to Ambassador Juster and Jones with you CC'd on it on the situation of Kashmir. Our partnership with India is strategic, but it's also based on our shared values of democracy, religious pluralism, and the respect of human rights. Under Modi and the BJP government, all of these mutual values have been threatened. And I think we have to understand the situation in Kashmir as part of an overall Hindu nationalism project of the BJP. So my first question to you is about the right of self-determination. Is the United States committed to emphasizing the centrality of Kashmir voices in determining the future of the Jammu and Kashmiri people?
I would disagree with the characterization that we don't have a values-based relationship with the government of Prime Minister Modi. And I would just underscore that Prime Minister Modi came in a consecutive term. He achieved a majority vote in a very diverse
we can agree to disagree on that. I just would like to understand if we are going to centralize the voices of the Kashmiri and...
But just to provide context, I mean, the actions he took were approved in Parliament, including by members of the opposition. The Supreme Court is reviewing that decision. The High Court is reviewing habeas corpus petitions. The institutions of India's democracy are working. We absolutely believe that Kashmiri's voice needs to be heard, that in any restoration, when there is restoration of an assembly, when there are state assembly elections, that's the way for Kashmiris to be able to register their views, also in peaceful assembly. And so I think the concern over the restrictions on movement and what we've seen over the last 78 days is that ability to protest peacefully has been difficult for Kashmiris to exercise.
Yeah. I mean, and the part of the reason I asked and the part of the reason I emphasized the context of the larger PGP project is because I think in both cases, the impunity we have seen for crimes against Muslims under the PJP was warming for such worse things to come. In Assam, almost 2 million people are being asked to affirmably approve their citizenship. As my colleague and the chairman said, there have been official statements to the effect that no Buddhist, Christian, Sikh, or Jain refugees need to worry about their status. And so this is a clear anti-Muslim program. And I'm sure you've seen the same reports that the Indian government is starting to build camps in Assam, presumably to hold those who are unable to prove their citizenship. This is how the Rohingya genocide started. At what point do we no longer share values with India? Are we waiting for the Muslims in Assam to be put in those camps?
The certification of citizenship in Assam dates to a 2013 Supreme Court ruling that ordered the government to do so, to address questions of illegal immigration. The process, which continues to unfold and continues to be challenged in the court, it now has 1.9 million people who have not been certified. And that includes both Muslims and Hindus. There are 300 appeal panels that are being set up for those individuals to appeal this determination. And as my colleague stated, we're concerned that many of these individuals who may not have the wealth or the education to successfully be able to document their citizenship are vulnerable. We will continue to watch this very closely, but I would stress that the appeal process is still open. The judicial process is still working in India. And as a democracy, we respect other democracies' abilities to self-police and self-regulate. And so this process is underway. Our voices have been heard. Your voice is going to be heard. Obviously, there's international attention focused on this national citizenship registration.
Wait, Omar kicks it off, claiming lawmakers shouldn't legislate based on faith. The witness looks at her like, ma'am, that's not how any of this works. It was one of those moments where you expect someone to slide a pocket constitution across the table and say, here, give it another shot. The witness stays cool, no yelling, no drama, just that quiet confidence of someone who's actually read the damn thing. Omar tries setting a trap question, and it flops like a $sign sparkler in the rain. She wanted the witness to basically say religious lawmakers should be sidelined from decisions. Instead, the witness shuts it down so smooth it almost came with a bless your heart. At that point, Omar wasn't just losing the argument, she was losing her whole storyline. Next, she pivots to the India-Kashmir drama, painting this over-the-top picture like she's trailer in a Bollywood political thriller. Accuses India of runaway nationalism, total human rights collapse, even throws in genocide vibes. Subtlety clearly took the day off, but Ambassador Alice Wells, ice cold, she corrects every exaggeration without breaking a sweat. Drops facts like India's Supreme Court ordered the NRC, Hindus and Muslims both affected, appeals and courts fully active. Democracies don't need Omar playing global hall monitor. Every fact bomb felt like another pin in the balloon. Omar's narrative deflated faster than a cheap party decoration. When Omar lands her big dramatic closer, at what point do we no longer share values with India? Wells doesn't even flinch, just drops the line of the day. We respect other democracies' abilities to self-govern. Translation: chill out. India doesn't need your monologue. If that moment had a soundtrack, it'd be a clean, echoing mic drop. 2 hearings, 2 attempted plot twists, and 2 times Ilhan Omar got politely, but thoroughly, fact-checked back to reality. If you love watching the witnesses pop her conspiracy balloons with straight facts, smash that like, drop a comment, and hit subscribe. Catch you in the next one, where reality always wins.